where the SHA thought find out and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest, serial integrator and mastermind leader, helping entrepreneurs build resilient businesses, unbreakable teams, and generational impact. None other than Mr. Jay Isaac.
Thanks for having me, Daniel. I appreciate it.
Welcome, Mr. Jake on Abstract Saying. Can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, my name's Jake Isaacs. I'm the co-founder of an organization called Gathering the Kings. We are a entrepreneurial mastermind organization that specializes in helping entrepreneurs find equilibrium in their businesses and their home life. We believe that you can have success in all areas of life, that you don't need to sacrifice one thing for the other. And we love talking about how to win in what we call all areas of life or live the exceptional life.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. Jake. Thank you. So let's talk about the, well, something good. Operational clarity, the secret growth tool most entrepreneurs ignore. So tell us, secret growth tool. Why do you believe most entrepreneurs ignore it, and why? Or what are they typically focusing on instead that are less effective?
Yeah, great question. Daniel, most entrepreneurs, when they get started in business, they are just arrogant enough and confident enough to believe that they can do it better than someone else. And so they've got a unique take on a product or a service that they want to put into the marketplace. And they work hard when they first start their businesses to start generating revenue. And they do a good job at that, right? It's what has made them successful. But eventually, over time, their lack of clarity and their inability to take things that are out of their head and put them on paper so a team can duplicate them turns into the bottleneck that keeps them from really growing their business to be able to provide the lifestyle that they dream of or that they wanted.
Interesting, Mr. Jake. How do you define operational clarity in a simple, concrete terms? How is it different from just having a business plan or a general revision of vision itself?
Yeah, a general mission for the business is a great guiding light that helps you kind of define where you want to go, how you want to hire, how you're going to fire, and helps build the culture of your team. Operational clarity, though, is really the systems and the processes that back up the day to day action that you want to take. Making sure that you are clearly defining how you do your unique thing well. One of my good friends runs a garage door company, and he has systems and processes dialed in for his particular business, down to the detail of how you put a sticker on a garage door at the end of the job. And I believe that when you have that level of clarity for your team to be able to follow, it makes it easy for them to know what they need to do next in order to be successful at their job. Daniel, I truly believe that most employees don't come to work on a day to day basis and want to be bad at their job. The reason that they're bad is because there's ambiguity and they're not sure how they can move forward and be successful. So it's our role as the business owner or the operational leader inside of the business to make sure that we're removing as many of those roadblocks and hurdles for our employees to be able to do well at what they're hired to do.
Mr. Jake, what is the direct cause and effect link between clarity and operations and top line revenue growth? How does working on the system directly drive more sales?
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, what that allows you to do is to duplicate your process, right? We want to try to reverse engineer a system that can be duplicatable. And again, take it out of the owner or the operator's head and create a system where you can hire people to come in and do the exact same thing at the exact same level that you do it as the owner or the operator. And so the question that you asked is, how does that translate into top line revenue? By duplicating a system that gives you the ability to bring other people in, you get to multiply your own efforts and it can become a force multiplier. So now instead of you just being an owner operator that's running one truck or manning the store for 8 hours, you can duplicate your processes. You can create a system in which other people can come in and follow the exact steps necessary in order to do what you do also. So now you can stay open longer as a business because you're able to hire people to work hours that you're not working, or you can put another truck on the road or another crew in the field.
If this is such a powerful tool, Mr. Jake, why isn't it thought as a fundamental skill alongside marketing and finance in the most entrepreneurial circles?
Yeah, I think it is a fundamental tool. I think most people don't know how to get to that point though. Right? There's a concept that we talk about, the difference between working in the business, which is revenue generation, like marketing and sales, and on the business, which is slowing down a little bit, understanding your books, setting up your processes, documenting different systems. And that type of stuff isn't directly tied to revenue generation on a day to day basis. And so it's hard for entrepreneurs when they're getting started to slow down enough or to find the time inside of their busy schedules to do those type of things. And it really takes someone with some vision and some forethought to be able to carve out time to document their own processes so they can hire people and duplicate that.
Mr. Jake, on diagnosis and the cause of ambiguity, what are the most common symptoms in a business that signal a severe lack of operational clarity? Just like constant firefighting, missed deadlines, or team confusion.
Yeah, I think all of the above. Um, you know, if you've got a situation where you've got high turnover, or you've got a situation where you've got people that are kind of twiddling their thumbs and they're not doing things the way that you would do them, or because they don't know what to do next. You've got a situation where you've got a bunch of callbacks or you've got unhappy customers because the job quality isn't the same. All of these are red flags that there's a part of the system, there's a piece of the cog in the machine that's broken, and you need to slow down and redefine some of those things, go back around and document them more appropriately, or bring more clarity to that specific aspect of the business in order to kind of smooth out some of those issues that you're seeing.
Interesting and empowering answer, Mr. Jake. How does operational unclarity silently drain profit beyond the obvious inefficiency? What are the hidden costs most owners don't see?
Yeah, I mean, the hidden costs are time, right? What we experience is this need to make sure that the calendar stays full, make sure that the phone continues to ring, make sure that the marketing pipeline stays stuffed with new leads. And and when we're in that revenue generation mode where we're doing the day-to-day activities really really well, it's hard to justify the slowdown that it takes to sit at your desk in front of your computer, work with a AI tool or work with a documentation tool in order to put these things in place. It takes a lot of organization and a lot of systemization that most of the entrepreneurs that we work with, they just don't, they're not able to get their head out of the clouds enough to bring the day-to-day actions into a tactical, into the weeds level that allows them to do these things, to do these activities.
Mr. Jake, for entrepreneurs who feels they are too busy scaling to document process, how do you convince them that it is the very work that will create the time and space to scale?
Yeah. Daniel, that's such a powerful question, because it is true, right? When you're in the middle of growing from one level in business to the next, it is very easy to overlook some of these foundational type items and put it off on the back burner and say that you'll do it later when things slow down. And really, what that takes for an entrepreneur to be able to realize that they need to spend that time is something needs to break, something needs to happen. uh if you can't go on vacation with your family for a week, or if you can't go a night without having to answer your phone to help clarify questions for your team, really what you've done is you've created an environment where you're the bottleneck and the chief decision maker. And that's not why we got in business. That's not the time freedom that most entrepreneurs are searching for when they start their own business. And so it's allowing that painful situation to happen for them to realize that, like, oh, hey, there's another way. I've got to figure this out. I've got to do a better job of hiring. I've got to do a better job of bringing people in that can take some of these decisions off of my plate. And I need to let go of my desire to be the chief decision maker. Most
Be.
entrepreneurs want to be the problem solver, Daniel,
Mhm.
and they're good at it. That's why they generally get started in business, is because they can solve problems well.
Definitely. So, can you share a story of a client who did not win or who did not think they had an operational problem until you diagnosed a specific clarity gap that was caping their growth?
Yeah, we had a client who runs a fairly large remodeling company, a home remodeling company, and we were doing an in-person event where we went to kind of the mountains of North Georgia and spent some a long weekend in a cabin and some time together, and it was a lot of fun. But there wasn't very good cell reception. And when we got back into the city and his phone reconnected to the cell towers, he had 37 missed calls from his team over the course of a 48-hour window. And the recognition that, like, oh my gosh, I've got people who can't think clearly for themselves and need me to help make decisions, really was eye opening for him. Being able to see all of those back to back stacked up missed calls was alarming to him. Because in up until that point, it was just a part of his normal day to day, fielding phone calls, helping put out fires, and it was just a part of what he did. And it wasn't until he slowed down and removed himself from that environment that he was able to look back and see just how integral he was to things running smoothly. And it really kind of woke him up to the idea that, oh man, I don't have things documented well. Oh, I don't have a number two in place that can help lighten this load for me. And so he spent the next 18 months hiring better, reevaluating his organizational chart, and making sure that he was empowering the leaders that he was hiring in order to take some of that load off of his plate.
On the practical implementation and the how, Mr. Jake, where is the absolute best place for a busy founder to start? What are the first process or system they should map out to get an immediate win?
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to say that you should start from the beginning, because if you're documenting the processes from the beginning, it just makes it easier as you're continuing to grow and scale the business to hand some of that stuff off. The reality of the situation is most people are just trying to make money. And so they're doing any and everything that they can to make that money, and they don't think about the systems or processes or the how they're doing it. It becomes intuitive to them. It's natural. And so really my recommendation is, as you're getting started in business, even if you are a single owner operator who doesn't have a team of people yet, start now. Spend an hour every week documenting one of your processes or one of the things that makes your widget unique to the marketplace. And if you can spend an hour a week for the first year in business, you'll have 52 documented SOPs for your business. And it'll give you the foundation to really be able to grow and bring people into your business.
Mr. Jake, as a serial integrator as well as a mastermind leader, what are your short term and long term goals?
Daniel, say that again for me. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yes, as a serial integrator and mastermind leader, what are your short term and long term goals?
Yeah, my personal short and long term goals. Uh, you know, as we wrap up, we're sitting here in towards the end of December in 2025. My short term goal is to make sure that we are putting a good plan in place for 2026 and beyond. You know, making sure that my business partner and I are on the same page for how we want to run the business, for how we want to make sure that things unfold in 2026 is important. And so we're going to slow down. We're going to put goals on paper. We're going to talk about what 60, 90, and 3 years look like for our business. This is a rhythm that we do every single year, and it feels weird to take time away from the business to pick our heads up to look at kind of the long-term vision of what we want to accomplish. But really what that allows us to do is by having this stuff in place, when we get into the heat of the battle in June or July of next summer, we have talked through some of the things that we're trying to accomplish. And so it gives us a roadmap of what to follow. And so short term goal is make sure that we get all the planning done for 2026 and we're on the same page as far as where we're going. A long term goal is to continue to just maximize the outreach that we have for entrepreneurs across the United States. One of the things that makes Gathering the Kings unique is we are not an industry specific organization. And so we work with entrepreneurs from all different walks of business. That could be the home trades industry, it can be financial services, it can be retail, and it can be restaurant. And we love working with people from different types of businesses, because we believe that by putting people into community where multiple different business sectors are represented, it creates this agitation of thought. You as a roofer might not think of a certain way of doing things, but you hear a guy who runs a local coffee shop talk about some of their marketing efforts, and that might unlock for you a new way of thinking or doing things that isn't typically done inside of your industry. And so we love creating these spaces with people that can just agitate thought with inside one another. That's the true mastermind principle that Napoleon Hill defined in the book Think and Grow Rich.
Good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. And thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Jake. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
Yeah. It's easy to put your head down and put the blinders on and do business in a silo. But success really happens when you're able to have community. And that is hard for most A type driven people, specifically men, Daniel. And so my recommendation is make sure that you're finding community of people that understand some of the weight and baggage that you carry as a decision maker inside of your business. You know, it can be very lonely feeling with the people around you or people inside of your family not understanding the pressure and stress that it takes to run a business. And so make sure that you're finding people inside of community, whether that's a local BNI network or a group like Gathering the Kings, that gives you the opportunity to network and meet people that understand some of the pressure that you're going through.
Thank you for that advice, Mr. Jake. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And tell us, for a listeners who's convinced but overwhelmed, what is the 30 minutes exercise they can do this week to start building these secret tools or secret tools?
Yeah. Um, I would spend 30 minutes every single morning just creating a bullet pointed list of how things happen inside of your business. Lead comes into the website, it goes into your CRM, it gets called, it gets followed up on, it gets put into an email drip campaign, and just slowly start bullet pointing and documenting the process that you want to take your customer through from beginning to end of job and beyond. And once you kind of have that documented, you'll be able to highlight different areas inside of that, what we call customer journey, that gives you the opportunity to write specific SOPs or processes for your business.
Oh, Mr. Jake, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and Mob Book 101 review in fifth season too, Comedy 101 in second season, and Mob Food 101 in sixth season. This December, my Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101 review, Music 101 are on fifth, fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101, second season, I'm a Baby podcast, Mental Health, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, Entrepreneurship 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Jake, ultimately, what becomes possible for a business in terms of value, exit potential, or a market impact once the operational clarity is achieved?
Yeah. You know, the idea of a big 7, 8, 9 figure exit from your business is a dream that most people have when they get started in business. But the reality is, someone's not going to buy the ideas that are in your head, that it needs to be well defined and it needs to be documented. And so, if that's the route that you're building towards with your business, you have to spend the time to go through the work and do the documentation to create the systems, create the processes. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to actually walk away from the business that you're building. And so, if that is the goal, if that is the desire, do the work now. That way, when you come time towards the end of your career to walk away from the business or sell the business, that you've got something that is tangible that can be sold.
Tangible to be sold. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom, Mr. J, to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. You can find out more about Gathering the Kings by going to gatheringthekings.com, or I'm very active on Facebook and LinkedIn at Jake Isaacs.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Jake Isaacs because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy like this will rise. So, Mr. Jake, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Daniel. Appreciate you.
Modica people, see you soon.